Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Grow Show. My name is Mark Lamberth. I'm your host. Today I'm speaking with Bill Hillman at William F. Hillman Carpentry in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Bill, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look at what you guys do. You have an amazing reputation in the marketplace. You guys have been in your area for a long, long time. I'd love just to hear what services you provide for your customers.
We've changed over the years. I like to say we've grown and kind of niched out our market, but at one point we were doing additions, new homes. I was running crews doing framing and finish work for a bunch of the larger builders in the area. I always enjoyed the finish work myself, and that's what I was good with. My background was actually furniture making, and I'm a third generation carpenter, fourth generation, come to think of it.
Okay.
So it was always the push to grow bigger. And as I became more of a manager and less of a carpenter, I realized I was a far better carpenter than I was a manager. And as we've as the company has evolved, I've gotten older. There was the constant struggle, like most guys have, of finding good help. So you always fall back and doing a lot of the key stuff yourself, which kind of hinders the management end of it. And eventually, actually, it was probably like 2008 when the market went down, and I kind of saw the market going down. That I just kind of consolidated and started focusing more of what we do well, and I took a good hard look at the business and kind of figured out where we made the money. And it was not by running big crews, it was by doing high-end custom work. And in order for that to really be prosperous, I had to be hands-on. So at that point, I consolidated to me and two other fellas that were really good. One has since left and retired in Florida, but that's where we have a lot of older homes in this area. It's a pretty old area. Not many people could do real restoration and fine work. Everybody coming into the market seemed, trained by, the trade schools and all, were good at throwing up walls and installing standard molding and stuff like that. But the high quality hands-on is what we ended up really focusing on and have done pretty good at it over the last, and I think we really made that change. Yeah, well, over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we like it. As me and my partner are getting older, it's I think about 2 years ago, we took all our old ladders and scaffolding and took it to the dump and decided that we literally burned the ships, as they say.
All right. No more time on the ladders, huh?
No more times on the ladders.
Oh man, I heard that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so you work primarily in is it called the main line?
The main line, yeah.
Yeah. And this is, tell me about the main line there.
So the main line is one of the older sections. It gets its names from the Pennsylvania Railroad. It was their main line of service, and a lot of the executives lived out here. So through the Gilded Age, we have a lot of homes that were built in 1880s through that period. Big, Frank Furnace style, designed by him. We have a little later, we have some homes out here that were built by Frank Lloyd Wright. Most of the area was developed by, I shouldn't say most, it was probably a good third developed by 1920. Most of the houses we work in were built between 1880 and 1930. So it's a wealthier area. Gladwin, which is just one town over, at one point was always ranks in the top 4 or so wealthiest communities in the country. So there's still some money here. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of the old industrial wealth has kind of left, and it's been those houses have been bought up by academics from Penn and Drexel and the universities in the city. So we're just a mile or two outside of Philadelphia.
Okay. So when you decided to actually kind of consolidate down from, even up to 17 guys at one point down to a few guys here in the last 10 years, did you choose specifically the neighborhood, the main line, because of it, because if it's an affluent neighborhood? I mean, did you spend a lot of time there? Did you, have ties there already, or how did you make that choice?
We had a lot of ties here. I was on a couple of boards, library boards and scouts and those things. So the network for me was pretty easy. My wife and I talked about moving out of the area at one point, and I said, well, if we do that, if I have to pick an area that I want to work, it's this area. Because for what we want to do, those houses are here. The people have the money for the high quality work. They want to see the high quality work. I guess if I was in a different area, I would have modeled it differently. But for this area, it fit perfect because it's what I like to do. It's what I've always liked to do. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's just an interesting choice how you really aligned at the type of house we're always talking with folks that we work with, contractors, like, look, let's focus on like really affluent areas for so many reasons. And, more of, a financial aspect at that level, but, working with affluent folks, it's just a completely different experience. And I love that that's really a niche that you settled down into. It's also the houses you like to work on. And
I guess, and if I was in a different area, we probably would have modeled it a little more towards the get in, get out approach, high volume, low cost, which is what you have to do. But I was, so I guess, you have to work with the market you're in because travel is expensive. And I just lucked out that it was a good fit for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. So these days, are you focused mainly on like high-end finish work, or cabinetry type level, or are you still doing remodels and additions in those areas?
We do some remodels. In fact, I was just going through the numbers from last year, and we now have hit a point where we were doing more volume money-wise with custom cabinets, even furniture, and interior. When we redo a house, it may be going in and taking the doors that somebody had replaced the original doors with a 5-panel door 20 years ago, finding milling new doors, bringing them back to how they used to be. Total remodeling, like gutting a section of the house. We don't do much of that anymore. That's probably less than 25% of our business. And it may be, we'll get a lot of calls in this area for older custom built kitchens. And some of these kitchens were built in, 1920s, 1890s, where the dishwasher seemed to be a big thing. Overflowed and hip damage. And the insurance companies look at it and say, oh, this is an old kitchen. We'll just give you money. You need to upgrade it. And the people are going, no. We want that cabinet or whatever it was restored and rebuilt so that it matches what we have.
No kidding. I see.
We're seeing that more and more.
Wow, that is amazing. It sounds like such a fun workplace and gig that you have.
It is. It's actually, we joke, we actually enjoy doing what we do. And I couldn't imagine going back to the framing and all, especially when you get a little longer in the tooth. It's the body doesn't recover as quick. The fun runs out of pumping 2x4s and plywood up one.
Yeah, no kidding. Amazing. Well, Bill, if folks are in the mainline area in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, and are looking for a great kind of high-end, finish work and restoration specialist in these beautiful older homes, what are some of the best ways to get in touch with you guys?
You can call us.
Okay.
or we're on the web at hillmancarpentry.com. They keep telling me I should be doing Instagram and the TikTok and all those things, but I just haven't wrapped my head around those. But we're on. You can Google us. We're on the internet.
Okay. Great. Well, take a look at their website over at hillmancarpentry.com. That's HILLMAN carpentry.com. You can get in touch there. And they've got some beautiful photos of work that they've done as well. Fantastic. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and wish you the best here in 2026.
Mark, thanks a lot, and best to you.